Let me tell you something, there's a power in recognizing the games people play with words. You see, words can be weapons, and there are some people out there, narcissists, who know exactly how to wield them. They'll say something that might sound innocent at first, but it's like a hook designed to reel you in. And before you know it, you're caught up in their web, doubting yourself, questioning your worth, and losing sight of who you are. Now, I'm here to tell you this: if someone says a phrase that makes you feel small, like you've got to shrink yourself just to fit into their version of reality, you better pause and look deeper. Words like "you'll never find anyone better than me," or "if you really love me, you do this," are not just phrases, they're traps. They're engineered to manipulate you, to keep you spinning in a loop of confusion, guilt, and self-doubt. But here's the truth. The moment you recognize what's happening, you've already won half the battle. Because awareness is your greatest weapon. When someone tries to use words to control you, you have the power to say, "No, this isn't about me, it's about you trying to play with my mind." And you step back, you take your space, and you protect your peace. Now, let's be real. It's not easy to stand up to someone who's trying to pull the strings, especially when they know how to hit you where it hurts. But you've got something stronger than their manipulation. You've got the truth. And the truth is this: you are not here to be anyone's pawn. You are not here to be controlled by the whims of someone who thrives on taking power from others. So, when you hear those phrases, those traps they want you to believe, let them roll off you like water off a duck's back. You look them in the eye, and you say with your energy, if not your words, "I see you, I see what you're trying to do, but I know who I am, and I'm not falling for it." You have the strength, the clarity, and the courage to walk away from anything that doesn't serve your soul. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth. Because once you know it, no phrase, no manipulation, no narcissistic trap can ever hold you back. Go forward, and don't just hear the words people say, feel the intention behind them. And if that intention is to bring you down, you rise up higher. Because you were built for greatness, not for someone else's game. Words have immense power, more than we often realize. They shape perceptions, influence emotions, and even direct actions. For narcissists, language becomes a finely tuned weapon, a means to assert control and manipulate others for their gain. They understand that the way something is said can carry as much, if not more, weight than the content itself. By crafting their words carefully, they can sway, trap, and confuse their targets without ever raising suspicion. Narcissists are highly skilled in the art of communication, but not in a way that fosters connection or understanding. Instead, they use language to serve their needs, often at the expense of those around them. They craft phrases with precision, aiming not to express genuine thoughts or feelings, but to provoke specific reactions in their targets. This is the core of their manipulation strategy. They speak not to communicate, but to control. Think about it. How often have you heard someone say something that seemed innocent on the surface, but left you questioning yourself, your decisions, or your feelings? These moments are not always coincidental or unintentional. Narcissists thrive on creating these experiences. They understand that words can bypass the logical mind and strike at the heart of emotions, creating doubt, fear, or guilt. By carefully choosing their phrases, they aim to unsettle their targets, making them more vulnerable and easier to influence. For example, a phrase like "you're too sensitive" might seem like a casual remark, but in the hands of a narcissist, it becomes a tool to discredit your feelings. It's not just a statement, it's an attack on your perception of reality. It says your emotions are invalid, pushing you to second-guess your experiences. Another phrase, such as "you'll never find someone better than me," is designed to instill fear and dependency. It's a calculated attempt to make you doubt your value and believe that the narcissist is your only option. These statements are never about the truth, they are about power. The power of language lies in its subtlety. A single sentence, spoken at the right moment, can shift the dynamics of a relationship, turning an equal partnership into a one-sided power struggle. Narcissists know this, and exploit it to their advantage. They don't need to shout or become overtly aggressive to assert control. Their words do the work for them. They plant seeds of doubt, manipulate emotions, and construct narratives that serve their agenda, all while maintaining the appearance of normalcy. The way they use language also reveals their deeper intentions. They often employ ambiguity, leaving their words open to interpretation so they can deny accountability later. If confronted, they might say, "That's not what I meant," shifting the blame onto you for misinterpreting them. This tactic keeps you off balance, constantly questioning your understanding of the situation. It's a form of psychological warfare, subtle yet deeply impactful. Recognizing this dynamic is crucial because it allows you to see through the manipulation. When you understand that language is being used as a weapon, you can start to protect yourself from its effects. You can begin to discern the difference between genuine communication and calculated manipulation. This awareness doesn't just shield you from harm, it empowers you to reclaim control over your emotions and decisions. Language, when used authentically, can build bridges, foster understanding, and create meaningful connections. But in the hands of a narcissist, it becomes a tool of deception and control. By recognizing the power of words and understanding how they can be used to manipulate, you take the first step toward breaking free from their influence. Awareness of this tactic transforms language from a weapon into a shield, enabling you to stand strong in the face of manipulation and maintain your sense of self. Recognizing the specific phrases used by narcissists is crucial, because these words and sentences are not random, they are carefully chosen to achieve a particular outcome. Narcissists rely on a repertoire of emotionally charged phrases that serve as tools to manipulate, control, and confuse their targets. These phrases often seem innocent or even caring on the surface, but they carry hidden agendas designed to erode your confidence, create dependency, or shift the power dynamic in their favor. The ability to identify these phrases is the first step in protecting yourself from their harmful effects. One common phrase used by narcissists is, "If you really loved me, you would do this for me on the surface." This may sound like a simple expression of love or a request for support, but it is laced with manipulation. The underlying message is clear: your love is being questioned. And the only way to prove it is by complying with their demands. This creates a situation where the target feels obligated to prioritize the narcissist's needs over their own, often at great personal cost. It's not about love at all. It's about control. Another example is, "You'll never find anyone better than me." This statement is designed to instill fear and dependency. By suggesting that you are unworthy of finding someone else who will care for or accept you, the narcissist seeks to make you doubt your value. It's a tactic rooted in fear: fear of abandonment, fear of being alone, or fear of losing what you have, even if what you have is toxic. This phrase is not a reflection of your reality, but a projection of their need to keep you tied to them, unable to imagine a life beyond their influence. "You're just overreacting," or "you're too sensitive," or other commonly used phrases. These statements serve to invalidate your feelings and experiences, making you question your perception of events. If you express hurt or disappointment, they dismiss it as an overreaction, subtly suggesting that the problem lies with you, not with their behavior. Over time, this can erode your confidence in your own emotions and judgments, leaving you more susceptible to further manipulation. A particularly insidious phrase is, "Everyone else agrees with me." This tactic leverages the power of imagined consensus to isolate you and make you feel as though you're alone in your perspective. It creates the impression that you're outnumbered or out of touch with reality, even if the everyone they reference is entirely fabricated. This approach pressures you to conform to their viewpoint, often at the expense of your truth. What makes these phrases so effective is their ability to strike at the core of human emotions. They exploit vulnerabilities such as the desire for love, fear of rejection, and need for validation. Narcissists are adept at tailoring their language to the unique insecurities of their targets, ensuring that their words hit where it hurts the most. This is not accidental. It's a deliberate strategy honed over time to maintain power and control. Recognizing these phrases for what they are, a means of manipulation, can feel like a revelation. It allows you to step back and analyze the intent behind the words rather than getting caught up in their emotional impact. When you hear these statements, it's essential to ask yourself, what is the underlying message here? What reaction are they trying to provoke? This awareness gives you the power to disengage, to refuse to play their game, and to protect your mental and emotional well-being. These phrases are not about fostering understanding or resolving conflict, they are about control. By learning to identify and interpret them, you equip yourself with the tools to resist their influence. This recognition is not only empowering but also liberating, as it enables you to reclaim your sense of self and maintain your boundaries in the face of manipulation. Emotional manipulation is one of the most insidious tools in a narcissist's arsenal, and their phrases are specifically designed to provoke powerful emotional responses in their targets. This strategy is not about fostering genuine connection or communication, it's about eliciting reactions that serve their agenda. The emotions they provoke, shame, guilt, doubt, or even fear, are not accidental byproducts of their words, but deliberate outcomes they have crafted to undermine your confidence and maintain control over the situation. For instance, when a narcissist says something like, "After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me," it's not an innocent expression of disappointment. It's a calculated attempt to instill guilt. The purpose of this phrase is to force you into a state of emotional indebtedness. Suddenly, instead of addressing the issue at hand, you're overwhelmed with feelings of obligation, questioning whether you're being ungrateful or selfish. This emotional turmoil makes it easier for the narcissist to steer the conversation in their favor, ensuring that their needs are prioritized over yours. Another common phrase is, "You're imagining things," or "that never happened." These statements are classic examples of gaslighting, a tactic that manipulates you into doubting your perception of reality. By dismissing your experiences or rewriting events to suit their narrative, the narcissist aims to destabilize your confidence in your own judgment. This emotional disorientation is deeply unsettling, leaving you more vulnerable to their influence as you begin to second-guess yourself and seek validation from them, further entrenching their control over you. Then there's the phrase, "I guess I'm just a terrible person," which might appear self-deprecating at first glance. However, this is often a ploy to shift the focus away from their actions and onto your perceived role as the antagonist. By framing themselves as the victim, they provoke feelings of guilt and sympathy in you, diverting attention from their behavior and placing the responsibility for the conflict squarely on your shoulders. This manipulation not only absolves them of accountability, but also keeps you emotionally invested in trying to fix the situation, often at great personal expense. Statements like, "If you leave me, you'll regret it," or "You'll never make it without me," are designed to evoke fear. The fear of failure, loneliness, or regret can be a powerful motivator, pushing you to stay in situations that are unhealthy or even toxic. By planting these seeds of doubt, the narcissist ensures that you remain tethered to them, unable to see a life beyond their influence. This is not love or concern, it's emotional blackmail, pure and simple. What makes these tactics so effective is their ability to bypass rational thought and strike directly at your emotional core. Narcissists understand that when emotions are heightened, logical thinking becomes impaired. In moments of guilt, shame, or fear, it's challenging to step back and assess the situation objectively. The emotional responses they provoke are like smokescreens, obscuring their true intentions and leaving you grasping for clarity in a whirlwind of feelings. Over time, the repeated use of emotionally manipulative phrases can create a pattern of behavior that feels almost impossible to break. The target begins to internalize the emotions being projected onto them, believing they are at fault, too sensitive, or incapable of thriving independently. This emotional conditioning is a powerful form of control, as it fosters dependency on the narcissist for validation and reassurance. Understanding this dynamic is essential for breaking free from its grip. When you recognize that the intense emotions you're feeling have been deliberately provoked, you can start to disentangle yourself from their influence. Emotional manipulation thrives in confusion and self-doubt, but clarity and self-awareness are its greatest antidotes. By identifying these phrases and the emotions they are designed to trigger, you empower yourself to step back, assess the situation, and respond from a place of strength rather than reaction. This awareness doesn't mean the emotions will vanish overnight. They are real and valid responses to the manipulation you've experienced. However, recognizing their source allows you to reclaim your emotional autonomy. You begin to see the narcissist's tactics for what they are: strategies to control and dominate rather than reflections of your own inadequacies. This shift in perspective is a critical step toward breaking free from their influence and reclaiming your sense of self. The phrases used by narcissists are not casual or thoughtless. They are deliberate mechanisms of control designed to dominate the narrative and maintain power in their relationships. These phrases serve as tools to shape the dynamics of interactions, creating a reality where the narcissist holds the upper hand. Their goal is not to resolve conflict or foster understanding, but to keep the balance of power tilted in their favor, ensuring they remain in control of the situation and ultimately of the people around them. Control through language often begins subtly. Phrases like "you're the only one who understands me" can seem flattering at first, creating a sense of exclusivity and intimacy. However, this statement also sets a trap, subtly placing the responsibility for the narcissist's emotional well-being on your shoulders. It's not about genuine appreciation, it's about fostering dependency. By making you feel uniquely important to them, they create an unspoken obligation for you to prioritize their needs, often at the expense of your own. Another tactic involves shifting blame through statements like "I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't pushed me." This is not an admission of wrongdoing, but a strategic deflection that turns the focus away from their actions and onto your perceived faults. By framing their behavior as a reaction to your actions, they absolve themselves of accountability and place you in a position of self-examination. This shifts the power dynamic, forcing you to defend yourself or apologize, even when the fault does not lie with you. Narcissists are also masters of ambiguity, using vague or contradictory language to maintain control over conversations. A phrase like "I never said that" when they clearly did creates confusion and uncertainty. This tactic, often referred to as gaslighting, is designed to make you question your memory and perception of events. When you start to doubt your own reality, the narcissist gains the upper hand as you become more reliant on them for clarity and validation. This erosion of self-trust is a critical step in their strategy to dominate the narrative and establish control. Control can also be exerted through phrases that create fear or dependency, such as "you'll regret this if you leave" or "you can't survive without me." These statements are designed to instill doubt about your ability to make independent choices. By emphasizing potential negative outcomes, the narcissist positions themselves as indispensable, making it harder for you to consider alternatives or take steps to assert your independence. This tactic ensures that you remain tethered to them, even in situations that are harmful or toxic. Even seemingly positive or reassuring phrases, like "I only want what's best for you," can be tools of control when coming from a narcissist. While such statements might sound supportive, they are often used to justify intrusive or manipulative behavior. By framing their actions as being in your best interest, they disguise their true intentions and make it more difficult for you to challenge or question their decisions. This creates a dynamic where their control over your life is normalized under the guise of care and concern. What makes these phrases so powerful is their ability to exploit natural human emotions and instincts. They play on desires for connection, fears of rejection, and the need for validation, twisting these fundamental aspects of human nature into levers of control. Over time, the repeated use of such tactics can create an environment where the narcissist's dominance feels inevitable and resistance seems futile. This is not accidental, it is the result of calculated efforts to maintain power over you. Recognizing these control mechanisms is a critical step in breaking free from their influence. When you understand that these phrases are not genuine expressions of thought or emotion, but deliberate strategies to manipulate and dominate, you can begin to dismantle their impact. Awareness of their tactics allows you to resist their control, protect your boundaries, and reclaim your autonomy. By identifying and addressing these patterns, you disrupt the dynamic that gives the narcissist their power, opening the door to healthier and more balanced interactions. One of the most effective tools in a narcissist's arsenal is their ability to make you question yourself. They are masters of inducing self-doubt, creating a psychological environment where you begin to question your feelings, choices, and even your worth. This tactic is not accidental. It is deliberate and calculated, designed to destabilize your sense of self and make you more susceptible to their influence. The more they can make you doubt yourself, the easier it becomes for them to control you. The process often begins subtly, with seemingly harmless comments that plant the seeds of insecurity. A narcissist might say something like, "Are you sure that's what happened? You tend to misremember things." On the surface, this might appear to be a casual remark or even concern for accuracy, but its underlying intention is far more sinister. By questioning your memory, they create a sense of uncertainty that makes you second-guess your perception of events. Over time, this can lead to a form of self-doubt so pervasive that you start relying on the narcissist's version of reality rather than trusting your own. Another common phrase is, "You're always so emotional," or "You're too sensitive." These statements are not just dismissive, they are meant to invalidate your feelings and experiences. When a narcissist uses these phrases, they are essentially telling you that your emotions are a problem, not their behavior. This tactic forces you into a defensive position where instead of addressing their actions, you start questioning whether your emotional reactions are justified. This deflection shifts the focus away from them and onto you, further eroding your confidence in your ability to interpret and respond to situations. Statements like "You're not thinking clearly" or "You don't know what you're talking about" serve a similar purpose. These phrases are designed to undermine your intelligence or judgment, making you feel as though you're incapable of making sound decisions. When used repeatedly, this tactic creates a dependency on the narcissist for guidance and approval. The more you begin to doubt your ability to navigate situations independently, the more power they have over your actions and choices. A particularly damaging aspect of this strategy is how it can make you question your worth. Phrases such as "You'll never be good enough" or "No one else would want you" are devastating in their impact. These statements are not just insults, they are calculated efforts to chip away at your self-esteem. The goal is to make you feel so unworthy that you believe the narcissist is the best or even the only option for companionship, validation, or support. This sense of inadequacy keeps you tethered to them, afraid to explore life beyond their influence. Even positive reinforcement can be twisted into a tool for inducing self-doubt. A narcissist might say, "I'm the only one who really understands you," or "No one else can handle you like I can." While these statements might initially seem like compliments, they carry an underlying message that you are somehow too flawed or difficult for anyone else to tolerate. This creates a dynamic where you begin to see the narcissist as your sole source of acceptance and understanding, further deepening your dependency on them. Over time, these tactics create a pattern of psychological conditioning. The more you hear these phrases and internalize their messages, the more they shape your self-perception. You may start to believe that your emotions are invalid, your decisions are flawed, and your worth is diminished. This internalized self-doubt becomes a powerful tool for the narcissist, as it weakens your ability to challenge their behavior or assert your boundaries. Recognizing this manipulation is a crucial step in breaking free. When you understand that the self-doubt you're experiencing has been deliberately cultivated, you can start to rebuild your confidence and trust in yourself. By identifying the patterns and reframing your internal narrative, you disrupt the cycle of dependency and begin to reclaim your sense of self. The power to overcome this lies in recognizing that the doubts you feel are not a reflection of your inadequacies, but a product of the narcissist's calculated attempts to control you. Narcissists thrive on creating confusion and emotional chaos in their relationships, and one of their most effective methods for doing so is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation tactic that causes you to question your reality, memory, and perceptions. This confusion isn't accidental. It's a deliberate strategy to destabilize you and make you more reliant on the narcissist's version of events. By controlling the narrative, they maintain their power and keep you second-guessing your understanding of the world around you. Gaslighting often starts with subtle contradictions or denials. For example, a narcissist might say, "I never said that," even when you clearly remember them saying it. This type of statement plants a seed of doubt in your mind. You begin to wonder if you misheard, misunderstood, or even imagined the conversation. Over time, these small instances accumulate, eroding your confidence in your ability to remember or interpret situations accurately. The more you doubt yourself, the more control the narcissist gains. Another common tactic is reframing events in a way that absolves them of responsibility while making you question your role in the situation. For instance, they might say, "You're making this a bigger deal than it is," or "You're overreacting." These phrases diminish the validity of your feelings and experiences, making you question whether your emotional responses are justified. In doing so, the narcissist shifts the focus away from their behavior and places the burden of blame on you. This manipulation creates an environment where your concerns are consistently dismissed, leaving you feeling unheard and invalidated. Gaslighting also involves creating conflicting narratives to keep you off balance. A narcissist might contradict themselves or tell different versions of a story to different people, leaving you unsure of what's true. They may say one thing one day and completely deny it the next, insisting that you're mistaken. This inconsistency creates a sense of instability, making it difficult for you to trust your own judgment or piece together a coherent understanding of events. The confusion serves their purpose, as it ensures you remain reliant on them for clarity and validation. In some cases, gaslighting can escalate to outright fabrications. The narcissist might accuse you of things you didn't do or claim that events happened in a way that aligns with their narrative. For example, they might say, "You said you'd do this," when you never agreed to it, or insist everyone thinks you're in the wrong to isolate you and make you feel as though you're the problem. These lies are not just distortions of reality, they are tools to control your perception and manipulate your behavior. By making you feel isolated or at fault, the narcissist strengthens their position of power. The effects of gaslighting are profound and far-reaching. Over time, the constant questioning and self-doubt can lead to a loss of confidence in your ability to think critically or make decisions. You may begin to rely on the narcissist's interpretation of events, believing their version over your own. This dependency is exactly what they want, as it gives them greater control over your emotions and actions. The psychological toll of gaslighting can be significant, leading to anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self-worth. Breaking free from gaslighting requires a combination of awareness and validation. The first step is recognizing the patterns of manipulation and understanding that the confusion you feel has been deliberately cultivated. Pay attention to instances where their words or actions don't align with reality, and trust your instincts when something feels off. Keeping a record of events, such as a journal or notes, can also help you reaffirm your memory and counteract their attempts to distort the truth. Surrounding yourself with supportive, trustworthy individuals is equally important. A narcissist often seeks to isolate their target, but reconnecting with people who validate your experiences can help you regain your sense of reality. Hearing perspectives from others who see through the narcissist's tactics can provide the clarity and reassurance you need to rebuild your confidence. Recognizing the manipulation and seeking support are critical steps toward reclaiming your autonomy and breaking free from the cycle of confusion and control. Understanding the motives behind narcissistic phrases is essential to recognizing their true intentions and protecting yourself from their manipulative tactics. These phrases are rarely spoken with innocent intent. Instead, they are tools designed to fulfill a narcissist's underlying need for control, dominance, and self-validation. To effectively counter their influence, it's crucial to unpack the motives behind their words and actions, as this understanding gives you the power to resist their manipulation and reclaim your autonomy. At the core of narcissistic behavior is an insatiable desire for control. Narcissists often feel the need to dominate their relationships and environments, using language as a weapon to achieve this. Phrases like, "I know what's best for you," or "You can't make it without me," are rooted in their need to establish authority over your decisions in life. These statements are not about care or guidance, they are about creating dependency. The narcissist wants you to rely on them for direction and approval, ensuring that you remain under their influence. Another key motive is the need to maintain their ego and self-image. Narcissists are often deeply insecure, though they may project confidence outwardly. To protect their fragile sense of self, they deploy phrases designed to deflect criticism and avoid accountability. Statements like, "You're just trying to make me look bad," or "You're always picking on me," serve to shift blame and portray themselves as the victim. By doing this, they not only avoid addressing their own behavior, but also manipulate you into feeling guilty for questioning them, further reinforcing their control. Narcissists also use language to create emotional dependency. They often deliver backhanded compliments or conditional affirmations like, "You're great when you listen to me," or "I love you, but you need to change." These phrases may seem like positive reinforcement, but they are laden with underlying expectations. The message is clear: your worth is tied to your compliance with their needs and desires. This tactic fosters a cycle of seeking their approval, as you become increasingly focused on meeting their standards to maintain their affection or validation. Another motive is to destabilize your confidence and make you question your perceptions. Phrases such as, "That's not how it happened," or "Everyone agrees with me," are designed to undermine your trust in your own judgment. By controlling the narrative and creating doubt, the narcissist ensures that their version of reality takes precedence over yours. This psychological destabilization not only weakens your ability to challenge their authority, but also makes you more likely to defer to them in future conflicts. Narcissists often aim to isolate their targets, and their words reflect this intention. Statements like, "No one understands you like I do," or "Your friends don't really care about you," are attempts to cut you off from external support systems. By sowing distrust or alienation, they make it harder for you to seek help or validation from others. Isolation ensures that you remain solely dependent on the narcissist for emotional support, giving them even greater control over your life. Fear is another powerful motivator behind narcissistic phrases. They may use threats or ominous warnings like, "You'll regret it if you leave," or "No one else will put up with you." These statements are designed to instill fear of abandonment, failure, or loneliness. By tapping into your vulnerabilities and insecurities, the narcissist reinforces the belief that you are better off staying with them, regardless of how unhealthy the relationship may be. The fear they provoke keeps you tethered to them, making it difficult to envision a life beyond their influence. Ultimately, the motive behind all these tactics is self-preservation. Narcissists see relationships as a means to validate their own worth and maintain a sense of superiority. Their phrases are carefully crafted to ensure that the power dynamic always tilts in their favor, protecting their ego while diminishing yours. They seek to create a dynamic where you exist primarily to meet their needs, support their narrative, and bolster their sense of control. Recognizing these motives is a powerful step toward breaking free from their manipulation. When you understand that their words are not genuine expressions of care or concern, but calculated attempts to control and dominate, you can begin to disengage from their influence. Awareness of their true intentions allows you to set boundaries, reclaim your confidence, and protect your emotional well-being from the damage caused by their manipulative tactics. In the end, understanding and recognizing the manipulative tactics of a narcissist is not just about exposing their behavior, it's about reclaiming your power, your confidence, and your sense of self. These carefully chosen phrases, though seemingly harmless at first, are calculated tools to undermine your reality, erode your trust in yourself, and entangle you in a cycle of control and dependency. By identifying these tactics, you take the first and most important step toward breaking free from their influence. You are not defined by the doubts they plant in your mind or the insecurities they exploit. Their attempts to distort your perception of reality or diminish your worth are reflections of their own weaknesses, not yours. Remember, no one has the right to manipulate your emotions, twist your words, or make you question your value. You are capable of seeing through their facade and standing firm in your truth. Take back control of your narrative. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, seek clarity in the midst of their chaos, and trust in your ability to discern what is real and true. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, genuine care, and authenticity, not ones rooted in manipulation and control. When you recognize the patterns, resist the pull of their words, and stand unwavering in your sense of self, you not only protect your own peace, but also shine a light for others caught in similar traps. The power they claim over you is an illusion, one that shatters the moment you choose to step into your strength. Stand tall, stay aware, and never forget that your worth is not something anyone can take away. You have the power to live free, to thrive, and to build a life that reflects the truth of who you are: independent, resilient, and unshakable. Thank you.